Thanks so much for staying. This is the AM show and time to talk sports. And the sports ministry has denied media reports suggesting they have asked the foreign players invited for the upcoming AFCON Under-23 Nations Cup to fund their airfare to the country to begin camping out. Let's go live and speak to a spokesperson and personal aide to the sports minister, Kofi Asare-Brako-Abate. Bro, thanks so much for joining me here on the show this morning. Of course, I mean, you denied it yesterday when I spoke to you. What's the situation now? Hello? Yes, I can, but your line is a bit scrappy, so if you can please reposition yourself. Yeah, I think it's okay now, so we can go ahead. Okay. Okay, so we'll have to. All right, so we'll have to, re-establish contact with Abate there. The line very not clear. There for us to continue the conversation. But the story, yesterday I had a chat with him on radio and he told me that it is not true, that story, that they've asked the under-23 players to fund their own airfare to the country to begin camping ahead of the AFCON Under-23 Championship, which will be hosted in Egypt next month. And that very competition will serve as qualifiers for the Olympic Games, which will be in Tokyo 2020, that's next year. So the winner, the second team, as well as the third place team, they will represent Africa in that competition. So let's go back and see if we have Abate on the line to continue the conversation. So, bro, thanks so much once again. I was asking if everything is fine in terms of the arrangement for the Black Meteors players.
Well, I should say that for now, the local component of the national Under-23 team is currently in camp preparing for the CAF Under-23 Championship. And as we all know, we had some challenges with regards to the very first game against Algeria. Yeah. And as was speculated, actually, some of the players had to buy their own tickets to announce the match. And as I speak, as at yesterday by midday, all other payments had been effected in favor of the players who actually had to buy their own tickets and come down. They were 12 in number: Yao Yeboah, Dauda Mohamed, Gideon Mensah, Majid Ashmeru, Nicholas Opoku, Joe Familia. We had the likes of Bernard Tekpete, Bismarck, Ingiza, Edith Sapon, Bukari Osman, Kinsley Kobe, and Isaac Chum. And all their monies have been paid them for the expenses they made towards buying tickets to come and announce the game between Ghana and Algeria. As we speak, Alex Asante, the acting general secretary of the Ghana Football Association, is in constant touch with the teams in Europe and trying to see how best they can release our boys for us 2 weeks clear before the tournament starts on the 8th of November. So if we are clear as to who are coming, then of course we can issue tickets, we can buy the tickets in their favor so that they can travel and come and join their local colleagues here, so that we can plan effectively ahead of this big tournament coming up in Egypt. Okay,
so what about the Black Stars B? They recently returned from the Wafu Cup of Nations, which they were second in that competition. Now they are preparing for their game this weekend. They also have to go away and play against Burkina Faso in the second leg of their CHAN qualifier. We all know the first leg here, we lost by a goal to nil. What's the arrangements like?
Well, let me place it on record that all per diems due them have been paid in full to the Black Stars B team after the 2019 Wafu tournament. So that one is settled. And then the Ministry of Youth and Sport is ensuring that the Black Stars B team gets very well motivated to avenge the defeat they suffered at the hands of their Burkina Faso counterparts in Kumasi a fortnight ago. And they are training at the moment at the Accra Sports Stadium. They are doing their best possible to actually go out there and make efforts to get a much-needed qualification to the CHAN tournament, which has eluded Ghanaians for the past 2 tournaments. As I speak, we even went ahead yesterday, myself and the chief accountant of the ministry, Mr. Emmanuel Ting, and payments have been made for their per diem, even for the Burkina Faso game. And this is quite something unprecedented, that you have to pay per diems before even teams and playing. And this is what we needed to do to actually motivate them, because qualification to this tournament is so crucial to all Ghanaians. So we saw the need to do this before they even go. And the arrangement is that they'll go by a special chartered flight, Air Force, by tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. The team will leave to Ouagadougou. The match will be played on Sunday. So immediately after the game, the boys will come back through the same means to Ghana. And it is I wish that they will go all out and make sure Ghana qualifies this time round for the tournament in Cameroon.
Abate, thanks so much for your time this morning here on the show. So that was Kofi Asare-Brako, Abate, who is now the spokesperson and personal aide to the sports minister. Well, away from that, Ghana FA elections is, the agenda this morning, of course, and it's something that we have to talk about because as and when we go on, issues come up. And now the Court of Arbitration for Sports, that's CAS, has written to the Ghana Football Association to respond to disqualified aspirant Wilfred Osei Kupame's request for an injunction on the elections latest by next week Tuesday. So what does this mean to Team Palmer? Let's go live and speak to Ebo Apia, who is a chief strategist. Ebo, thanks so much for joining me. Of course, this comes as good news to your camp.
Oh, thank you for having us. For us, we are camp. It's the biggest way of seeing things. We believe that there are legal steps on our way or available to us, and this is the first of many steps that in the coming days will come around. So for us, it's business as usual. The letter was not written to us. It is incumbent on them to respond. What we had to tackle yesterday was the misinformation that this has been thrown out. So that's what we had to tackle. But as to whether they reply, as to whether whatever they do about it, it's their business.
So would
our business is to remain focused.
So would you say you are making headway in terms of
oh, yes,
this?
A lot of headways. Remember, immediately she dismissed our appeal. We quickly filed for something called an appeal brief. Then we went on to ask her to sit down for an arbitration on Monday. She refused. So then we were able to invoke Act 37, which are the provisional measures. And that was invoked on Tuesday. By Thursday, 10 o'clock, CAS has written to them, giving them another 48 hours to respond. So by 10 a.m. Swiss time, they are supposed to respond. If they choose to respond, it's up to them. If they choose not to respond, it's their own mangana. Our business is to remain focused. So we hear from CAS, there's nothing we can do at this stage.
Per what you are doing, then of course it means that you want to halt the process.
No, it doesn't mean that we want to halt the process. We filed for an interim measure, and we have explained to CAS that where this thing go ahead, there's nothing that monetary compensation can be solved. So you cannot just go to CAS and ask CAS to do something. So CAS has heard us. They want to hear from them.
Okay.
Then they will come in as the independent arbiters to adjudicate on the matter.
Okay. Ebo, thanks so much for your time this morning here on the show. So that's Ebo Apia. He is chief strategist for Palmer's campaign, the disqualified presidential aspirant for the Ghana Football Association, who is still fighting his case. First, there was an appeal which was thrown out, and then he's now at CAS. We'll see how that will go. But I'll still have to stay with the Ghana Football Association elections, and barring any legal suits and everything that is going on in terms of the Palmer case and the Football Association, you know, the elections is supposed to be on, God willing, next week, Friday, October 25. I'm talking about the presidential elections. Even today, one is starting. That's the RFA, the Regional Football Association elections, which is going to happen across the regions. So the 10 regions, you know, it's 16 regions now, but we have 10 RFAs. So after possibly everything, they will then adopt the other 6 and see how that will go. But in terms of the 10, from Upper West up to Greater Accra, is going to happen today. And then next week, we'll have the constituent bodies on Thursday. And then if the presidential elections will come on, that will be on Friday. Well, John Yakuma is one of the presidential candidates, and he's actually been speaking. He has promised a change at the GFA if he's elected as president.
The title and the theme of our manifesto is football for all. The reason for this is that football should not be a sport for only a small group of people. Now, it is association football, and the reason it is association football is that it emanates from the communities. Now, it is our dream that when we take over the Ghana Football Association, football will belong to the community from where it came from. It will be played in the communities and will become owned by the community. That is how we can develop grassroots football. Now, one of the pillars of the manifesto is that we need to bridge the infrastructural gap. We haven't had the construction of excellent pitches for our children and our footballers for a long time. Now, our flagship program will be the building of a national center of football excellence.
All right, so that's a presidential candidate for the Football Association elections, George Ankuma, and you definitely will hear more from him in our subsequent sports bulletins. But University Games in next and the African Games 4x100 meters gold medalist Benjamin Azameti proved too good for competitors in the 100 meters final at the ongoing University of Ghana Inter-Hall Athletics competition. Now, the Mensa Saba Hall sprinter who featured at the just ended World Athletics Championships in Doha grabbed 100 meters gold in a time of 10.61 seconds, and after he had this chat with my colleague George Adu Jr.
It has been a long season. I mean, running from January to October, it has not been easy. I mean, I feel tired. I need time to rest and all, but then I'm happy to, end my season with Inter-Halls.
Inter-Halls, yeah, he's picking gold. Yeah, there was a little bit of the reaction that was going to come in from Michael Baden. Of course, he didn't seem to be the threat here, but you have to deal with him in 200. How do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm really thinking about that, but then it's a race and then anything can happen at all. But I know I'm in good shape, so I'm going to go for gold.
Yeah, sure. But 200 meters is his baby, and he's been beating you too early. And in fact, yesterday he did concede that 100 meters, he still felt you're the favorite, coming with the Doha fire and all. But he doesn't expect you to take anything away from himself for 200.
Well, that's him. I know I'm going to go for gold. I mean, he can say anything he wants, but then I know 200 I'm going to win. Yeah.
But of course, just a final word. How is Saba doing for you? Because you had a few disappointments. Commonwealth seemed to be going strong on the medal table. What do you think are the prospects for Mensa Saba?
Well, with the scouts that we did, I think all of them didn't get halls and all, so they didn't want to run for the hall and all that. So it was very, very difficult. Saba, Commonwealth have a bigger room for sports guys, but then we don't have that. So I think that's giving them the upper hand.